book. It's something that I really encourage. If you are thinking about this, someone that's listening to us right now, you should. You should stop postponing your dreams and take action. And because the results are amazing.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I am, as always, your intrepid host, Andrew Dupuy. I have with me the absolutely lovely and wonderful Maria Claudia Hoepers. And I got her name right. And
exactly.
Is absolutely an amazing person. She is someone who is an expert in tax and finance. She has studied in some of the most important and best universities in the world, including Harvard. And she currently is a PhD candidate, and she is working with Leaders Press on her book, Tax and Friends. It is in Portuguese. I do not speak Portuguese, so I'm not going to try to pronounce it in its proper language. She will do that for me. But welcome, Maria. I am so excited to have you today.
Thank you for this so kind introduction. It's a great pleasure to be here with you, Andrew. Thank you. And the pronunciation in Portuguese is tax e seus amigos.
Tax e seus amigos. Yeah,
exactly.
I'll work on that. Yeah, my Spanish is Castilian, so it wouldn't be the same way if I did it in that direction. But yeah, absolutely wonderful. So Maria, introductions aside, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, maybe to be better to go back a few years, because maybe my story could resonate with others. I grew up in a poor family in the south of Brazil. And since I was 12, I started taking a lot of courses, Andrew. I took typing, computing, manicure, drawing, playing some musical instruments. And do you know, Andrew, what they have in common?
I do not. Tell us.
All of them were for free, and they were my best choice at that time. Now things are better. Well, I started working at the age of 14, and at the age of 22, I opened my own company, and I am here. We are celebrating this year our 18th anniversary. I am very proud of that, to run a very successful business and to have a team with responsible and ethical and great professionals that I admire them, and of course work for very well-known multinational and national companies. It's a great pleasure. Well, I was the first member of my family to pursue higher education. Nothing was easy, and nothing is easy, especially for someone that's trying to break established patterns. At the age of 22, I started teaching at the same university where I had studied. And 6 years ago, I co-founded ABIVA. ABIVA, I am currently the president, is a think tank focused on reducing the excessive bureaucracy that we have here and enhancing the business environment. And more recently, I was invited to join a commission that collaborates with public agencies in my state at the same direction as ABIVA, to try to improve, to enhance the business environment in Brazil. And here in Brazil, Andrew, we have a very famous saying: Brazilians never give up. And as a Brazilian, I never give up. Everything that I am involved with, my company, the think tank, writing this book is my way of giving back, because I do believe that this subject, especially about finance, taxes, they are so important that people cannot stay away from them.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what fascinates me about your book, is I was looking into it. So you're taking a position of beginning to teach the concepts of finance and taxes to people that are very young. Is that, yeah? Is that,
exactly?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
Well, because from my experience here in my company and as a university professor, I could see that this subject, especially when we are talking about taxes, it's so complex that most of the time people prefer to stay away and to avoid talking about that. Oh, it's boring. It's not so cool, and it's boring. It's a politic thing, and it's better to stay away. However, we need to remember that when we are talking about taxes, we are talking about the main source of revenue of the countries. And the subject is so important that you cannot stay away.
Yeah.
And then I had this idea from a decade ago to write Focus on Children, because they are so open to new knowledge that I had big dreams about this. I think I could somehow help to build a better society. In the future, I was always looking and dreaming with a better future when I wrote this book.
Yeah. And I love it because I think that you're completely right. I don't believe that, especially in America, that the education system is teaching people the things that are practical in their life. There's so much ties to facts and so much ties to numbers and little things like that. But getting down to the actual importance is like, as a child, children don't understand when they're young what they're going to have to do when they become an adult, and the world that we have just throws them in like into the fire, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, first I was expecting this impact to occur far in the future.
Right.
Probably long after I'm gone, to tell the truth. Although I've always had big dreams. But from my surprise, I was completely wrong. Children, they learn so fast that they learn something in the morning, and in the afternoon, in the evening, they are teaching their parents. Right. And I could see a lot of improvements. I have been receiving great feedbacks from professors, from teachers, from parents, and of course, for children. And I wrote this book completely different from the books that usually talks about the taxes. I wrote in a completely different way. I will show you, I think, to be a little better.
Yeah,
Well,
let's see. Wonderful.
As we are talking, taxes are the main source of revenue for countries. Right. Through tax, of course, countries can provide the population with health, security, education, social benefits, infrastructure, and so on. And then these were exactly, the characters that I developed from this story. Tax is responsible for managing all the resources that are collected to tax, and he has 5 friends. They are responsible for each area, very important area of our country and each country. For example, we have health, who is responsible for health system. We have book responsible for education, cockpit responsible for infrastructure. We have Mrs. Brightbridge responsible for infrastructure. We have Mr. James Retired responsible for all the social benefits, the social rights. And he has his mother who advises him, Mother Claude. And unfortunately, we have Beth, who represents the corruption. And I did my best, Andrew, to write this story in a very fun and easy way, to connect people with this subject, because I do believe that shed light on this kind of subject could contribute to a better, fairer, and more transparent future. And then, although I wrote this in a fun and easy way, I do not stay away to cover some important subjects. For example, in the chapter 1, everything is fine. The taxes are collected perfect and applied perfect from the benefit of our society. It's perfect. It's like a dream. And then chapter 3, we cover the mismanagement of taxes and how bad it is for our society. And you can see this in real life a lot. Chapter 5 talks about corruption, and then things going terrible. But at the end, things going well. Basically, although it's not fun and easy way, well, we not stay away from the important subject. And it's amazing, Andrew, to see, especially children, be engaged on that. And I received great feedbacks. For example, one mother told me that, oh my gosh, Claudia, now every time I go to the grocery store, my children, she has 3, they are looking to the invoices, to the recipes, and trying to look how much they are paying in taxes. Usually they say, oh my gosh, it's too high, it's too high. But the most important question is the second one. The children ask to their mom, Mom, how the government will spend this tax? They will use for the benefit of us because this money is ours.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see that, I can feel that we will have a better society because today's children will be tomorrow's entrepreneurs, politicians, and leaders of each country. I'm trying to help some way.
I don't use this word often. Claudia, that's genius.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, it really is. I just, I think about that. That book needs to be in this country too. Let us help you do that, because it really does. We don't do that in the United States. We see all of those things as the enemy. A lot of people do. I mean, there's some in the country that doesn't, but we see all of that as the enemy, and the idea that sharing and being and working together and helping to build out our national infrastructure and pay for things like our police and our roads. We just think it should happen without us having to do anything about it. And I think part of that is because we don't learn anything. We don't learn anything when we're young. It comes in college, and by that time they've already had the noise of, honestly, people that are just trying to fill their own pockets in our government or our society. And what you're doing is so important, because what you're doing is starting that education young, where they can actually understand the idea of how nations are built and how people should be working together. It's like in the United States, we don't have healthcare at all.
Completely different from us.
Yeah, I know, exactly. And so many of us are opposed to it, and that makes no sense to me. And I think that starting early, that kind of education can help. Tell me, how did you come up with this idea? This is brilliance that I've just not seen before.
Thank you, Andrew. Well, I live in this bubble, in this tax bubble. And as a Brazilian, as I told you, I never give up, and I will never give up. And I could see that when we are adults, maybe we just have our knowledge and we are not so open to this. I will show you something that maybe could make a little clear. I have been using a lot of books. There are many amazing books that talks about taxes. However, they are so complex. I will just show one. I admire the author. I am a big fan, but look at this.
I know, yeah.
Look at this.
Who's gonna read that?
This talks about just one type of tax that we have in Brazil. That's a state tax. Just about this. It has close to 2,000 pages. And come on, it's so technical, even for people like me that are familiar with this and like that. But come on, how can I, engage a child to read a book? Like, it's impossible. Of course, it's not the book.
You can't engage adults. Not even children. You can't engage educated adults with that.
Do you like to read that, Andrew?
No,
No,
I
because
studied Russian history. I read the Domostroy. It's like 1,000 pages long. I remember like 10% of it.
yeah, and well, my goal is always that I am trying. I know because I live, I breathe these taxes all the time. All work that I am involved on talks about taxes, and I know for sure how important it is, and the decisions and the changes in terms of tax legislation that we have all the time, and how it impacts our society. And it to try to explain this to children. And now my book has been applied in a local school and focus on children 10 years old. And look at this kind of children, they are very involved and they're so creative and they wanted to advise the governor here, the governor, because now they understand how important it is. And I think it's the best time ever is to explain to children. And I have plans I am writing, and to tell you the truth, Alinka helped me a lot
Excellent.
because she said that I should put this in other countries, and she's helping. You are helping with this with Leaders Press. And I have others plans. And she said, of course, you should write on that. Of course, it's amazing. It's a great idea. I am now writing other books in the same direction as tax. I am writing finance for children, economics for children. That's a different approach. Accounting for children, law for children, politics for children. And each one will be represented for other characters. And at the same time, my goal is to start earlier with children from 6, 7 years old. I think it would be even better.
I still agree with you. And again, as a former teacher, one of the things that I had just noticed when I taught, I taught middle school and high school, so it wasn't quite the age group you're going for, but we underestimate children. We
Yeah,
continue to think that that all they really should consume is very basic things. Like in the United States, it would be Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers were things which were good. They were wonderful. I mean, I watched them growing up. But they didn't touch on a lot of the harder subjects. But I like your approach because what you're doing is you're not underestimating children's minds. And
no.
yeah, and you said several times, and I want to reiterate this, especially for the audience when they think about children's books, that the children absorb so much more than adults do. I mean,
Exactly.
I can't learn to tie my own shoe nowadays, but I could have when I was young. Yeah, is that really what the thought in your mind in that direction was to take
Uh,
it that way?
100% I agree. 100%. And they ask some complex questions that sometimes, oh my gosh, although I told you I am a little nervous talking to you right now, but when I am with them, oh my gosh, because they can ask, they are completely open to everything.
Yeah.
And oh, how the governor is controlling the taxes. And sometimes, oh my gosh, he has on his desk everything he's controlling because we are checking. We have here in Brazil, you can follow the amount of taxes that are collected almost in real time. And children are looking at this and asking, oh my gosh, it's improving a lot if you compare with the last month. Where is the money? Because I couldn't see improvements in schools, in our street. Where is the money? 10 years old. Oh my gosh. I always, as I told you, I have big dreams, but I couldn't dream so big like this. That things are happening right now, and the possibility to launch a book in the United States and a lot of amazing things. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
You're underselling yourself. You say you can't dream big, but you did because the results are right here in front of us right now. And so you did dream big. I like what you're doing because I just feel that it can be an inspiration. And I feel it could be an inspiration for a lot of children. And this is an unusual book for what we talk about typically, because we normally Leaders Press are talking about business books. But like with Alinka, we were originally a children's books company, and one of my best friends in the world is a children's book author. She's been featured on this podcast, and we feel very strongly that children's books are so important to how people form. Like in America, we have Dr. Seuss, but I mean, do we have much more nowadays? Not really. So you're taking an approach that I think is very important, and the reviews are showing it. I looked you up, don't worry, and the response has been fantastic. So yeah, well, you've already mentioned you have more books in the future. What else are you thinking about?
Well, first, I wanted to add something here, because maybe someone that is watching or listening to us are thinking about writing a book.
Yeah.
And I quote this, that see these amazing things happening right now. It's a great surprise for me, and I am very proud and very happy with all of this. And a lot of other things, Andrew, are happening that I was not expecting. For example, I was recently interviewed by Dr. Ives Gandra, one of the most respected, to me, is the most respected jurists in Brazil. And, well, hearing him speaking highly about my book was beyond anything I could have imagined. And a lot of contacts and people that, come on, I am a big fan. I have the opportunity to talk because of the book. It's something that I really encourage. If you are thinking about this, someone that's listening to us right now, you should. You should stop postponing your dreams and take action. And because the results are amazing.
Yeah.
The results are amazing.
I mean, perfectly well said, and it's very true. The biggest regret that I've ever heard on all of my episodes of the podcast, whenever I ask somebody the questions like, "What's your regret?" they all say the same thing. They all say they didn't do it sooner.
Exactly.
And
It's my
yeah,
case.
yeah, and it just once
Oh
they did
my
it, they
gosh.
realized, wow.
Although I cannot go back for sure,
Yeah.
but now I am focused. I try to follow what Alinka told me, and I will focus on the next. Now I will not wasting
Yeah.
souls precious time.
And I'm so glad that we found you, and I'm so glad that you made connections with Alinka, because she is brilliant, and
Yeah.
what she's been able to do is fantastic, and that's why I've worked for her for the past 8 years.
Oh.
Yeah, she's a great friend, and absolutely, I love that she was able to help you. Well, Claudia, tell us a little bit more, just to our audience, about how they can find you and perhaps work with you in the future.
Well, they can find me on my webpage. It's myfullname.com. Or they can find também. Oh my gosh, I am speaking Portuguese right now. Sorry. They can find me on taxandhisfriends.com.
Excellent.
Well, I have the book and other books.
Wonderful. Yeah, and those links are down below. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna embarrass Claudia a little bit. She was so nervous before she came on here, but she has been, and I think all of you will agree, an absolutely lovely guest. And that this was a great 30 minutes, extremely well spent. And I think that you have a lot to offer, and I'm so happy you were here, and thank you so much for being here. And we really hope that you have the best success with this book, and hopefully we'll do more together.
So much, Andrew. Of course, maybe the next time I will be a little less nervous. I
Well,
hope so.
the Band-Aid's been ripped off. Now you don't have to worry about it. You know it's easy as
Yeah.
pie.
But
All
thank
right.
you so
Thank you
much.
so much, Claudia. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here with us again today.